Hey guys, I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I want to show you this new mural that was unveiled for the 100th centennial of the race ride here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, also known as the burning of Black Wall Street. There's various themes in this beautiful mural. Matter of fact, the artist is a white man. He did a great mural of Harriet Tubman in Cambridge, Maryland. And I think that's how they knew about his work. But this is one of the themes right here of the deceased. About 300 blacks were carted off, thrown into the beds of different trucks and put in mass graves, or some people even said that maybe bodies thrown into the Arkansas River. Here's another theme of an airplane. This is the first time when an American airplane has been used against Americans on American soil. There have been reports that turpentine bombs were dropped on businesses and homes to burn them. This is the main theme right here that draws your eye. There's a mother and a wife who's clutching her husband who's deceased. See, the son is clutching and in disbelief as well, and the wife is looking up to the heavens, maybe even praying. But this is a very powerful picture. And Greenwood area was known for 2 movie theaters. This is the one, Dreamland Theater, that you've seen represented in a lot of pictures that are burnt. And you can see whites who were deputized, about 500 of them from the sheriff's department, to arrest blacks or kill them or loot their homes. And they're chasing some women. But it's a very powerful drawing. It's right here at the entrance of Greenwood. Hey guys, yours truly, Kevin Grace, reporting to you from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm on the corner of Pine Street and Greenwood. Now, if you know anything about a super group called the Gap Band from the 70s and 80s, featuring Charlie Wilson, who's still doing his thing today, they derived their name from 3 streets. G for Greenwood, A for Archer, and P for Pine. That was the boundary for the Greenwood community that was actually known as Black Wall Street. Of course, there was the 1921 massacre, and this year is the anniversary of it, May 31st to June 1st. And there was a rumor that the song they did, You Dropped a Bomb on Me, was about private airplanes dropping turpentine bombs on black citizens, and that was not the case. And thank God. Who wants to dance and be joyous to a song like that? Charlie Wilson said that song is about love. But anyway, right here on this corner, it is named after them, the Gap Band Avenue. So I'm going to explore this area with you, and of course things definitely changed from 1921, but yeah, Gap Band Avenue, and of course this is Greenwood Avenue and Pine Street. Now, Archer would be several blocks away, so that's like the boundary of this area, but they wanted to have a name that told people where they were from and that they were definitely proud of the area. Hey guys, yours truly, Kevin Grace. I'm here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm in the Greenwood community, aka Black Wall Street. And this area in 1921 was a race riot where a white mob came in here and burnt down most of this section. Different businesses, insurance companies never paid the over $200 million in claims. They used the clause in it that it was a riot and it was not caused by blacks. They never paid. There were never any reparations. I wanted to show you the sign behind me. It's called Reconciliation Way. So instead of naming different things, Reconciliation Way, and making parks or benches that are supposed to reflect what happened, why have you not given reparations to the victims? Matter of fact, there's only 3 survivors left, but of course there's still some descendants, and there were a lot of people that moved out of the area. They're finally going to start looking at some of these grave sites of mass burials because they would not allow any funerals to happen. Whites wanted to make sure that this event was brushed under the carpet, and they mass buried a lot of folks, and some people believe a lot of bodies were thrown into the Arkansas River or some of these other cemeteries where the pauper graves. So they're now digging up some of those and trying to identify the bodies with some of the DNA markers of descendants. But anyway, this is Reconciliation Way, and ironically there's a minor league baseball stadium right down the street. So when whites have built in this area, it's not helping the black economy. And they've also threw out a expressway as well, which divided this community as well. So they have not given proper reparations to this area. But anyway, I wanted to show you this sign here. Hey guys, I'm in the Greenwood area. I'm on Elgin Street, right down the corner from Archer. There's different signs that are going around the stadium, and it says, this is not a celebration, this is not reparations, and this is not a secret. So again, some people want to profit off of a very negative situation that happened in American history, and there still have not been any reparations given to the black community here, and businesses that have rebuilt here are not black owned, and the money's not going back into pockets of blacks. Matter of fact, this baseball stadium is a AAA stadium for the LA Dodgers affiliate, the Tulsa Drillers. So it's right here in the heart of the Greenwood community. So they're not even prospering off of that situation. So it's, again, I wanted to show this to you. cemetery on East 11th Street. This cemetery was featured on 60 Minutes, and they believe that some of the victims of the race riot of 1921, the Black Wall Street race riot, are buried here. Unfortunately, you know, like I said, whites wanted to get rid of the whole situation. There were really only 3 funerals that were able to be held. Everybody else, they said they did mass burials. They think some bodies were thrown into the Arkansas River. They did find here 12 bodies several months ago, and they're doing more research. So I think on June the 1st, they're going to be digging deeper. Now, they were supposed to have done this years ago, but the mayor at the time stopped that project. They said it was going to be too racially divisive, and they didn't want to do that. So again, they've been covering up about this massacre for years. And they said as far as there's still no reparations given to the victims. Now they're down to about 3 victims that are still alive. There was a 107-year-old woman who testified last week in Congress, Viola, I can't think of her last name, and but sharp-witted. And she said she was about 7 years old when this massacre happened. This weekend will be the centennial of it, May 31st to June 1st. But the bodies they did find, they have to do deeper research to see if there's any trauma to the body, such as gunshots, set on fire, lynch, if anybody was lynched, and then they can compare to the relatives now DNA marker. There still has, like I said, has not been any type of reparations after all these years. I think back in 2007 they tried to take it to the Supreme Court, and they didn't want to hear it because they said statute of limitations. So I mean, things have been ridiculous, but nobody likes the word reparations. But if they can maybe change the wording, just like with 9/11, there was a fund made for victims. That was okay to do. So why can't you do that for the families of the people that were affected? They're asking for maybe some college funds for survivors, descendants, and of course there's only 3 survivors left. So I mean, you can give them some economic help, and then also rebuilding in the community. It never happened. They said even afterwards they were redlining. They wound up in the 70s constructing this highway right behind me that runs right through the area, which made the area even smaller than what it was previously. During the riot, it was about 35 square feet blocks that were destroyed, and even after that they try to pass some fire law of saying that the area where the burning of property, you couldn't build on top of it. So they try to do everything, selling inferior wood to people trying to rebuild. Those folks had to use wooden crates and things like that, and live in tents until things were able to be rebuilt again. And of course in the 60s you had when things had integrated, the area suffered, people moved out, and then of course you had like I said, the highway under LBJ constructed, and that made the area even smaller. But so many stories.
Were buried in unmarked graves, while their families were locked down in the internment camps. The test excavation is expected to discover whether there are human remains. Next steps would include recovery and the question of how to honor those who have waited nearly 100 years for justice.
Southern Regional Black Panther Party, walking down Greenwood Avenue, 2021. Southern Regional New Black Panther Party, walking around Greenwood Avenue by North 28, 2021. Remember Tulsa, Oklahoma. Remember Tulsa, Oklahoma. We stand with y'all in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Elevate a conversation, never right this wrong. Reparations for them babies to that curse they is on. Hood and justice came to help us, but they're playing too big. Headshot from the hill till they jumped his gig. Now you sitting on that futon, looking stupid as neutron. Sipping on the pistol, type of stupid shit that you own. You gon' miss your blessing amongst deception. You gotta stay slow, yeah, keep pressing. Learn lessons, develop yourself. Get some money when it comes, don't get ahead of yourself. Black Wall Street back, don't go fooling yourself. Look together and unite and we gon' triple our wealth. This is himself, we gotta do better for our future endeavors. Whether giving out bars or taking bars and adding letters to the front and the back of your name. They'll forever be tethered like a shackle and chain, but the shackle remains. We gotta do the work, pick that sweat up off your brow, fix that collar on your shirt and demonstrate your crown.
What I believe is that there's a God that's watching after all of us. And I don't know what the plan is. Sometimes I don't know if there is one. But all we can do is rely on ourselves and what we can do to impact the people around us. Because it is what it is. Moment of silence. Thank you.
There are 3 survivors that are still left. 107-year-old woman. She was able to testify a week or so ago in Washington, D.C. about how it was being 7 years old and having that happen. It was such a horrible situation that folks didn't even talk about it. And of course, the people that caused it were whites that were still in charge, whether it be the police officers or lawyers. They were people that were still in power. And it's just a very sad state of affairs, and there still have not been any reparations paid to the people that lost their properties and everything else. And even the insurance company still has not paid over the $2 million amount of claims that were brought. But just very sad. Matter of fact, they try to use a loophole of saying that it was caused by a riot, and that's why they couldn't pay, because the state of Oklahoma wasn't going to pay anything, so they were going to be on the same page. A few years ago in 2007, they tried to get the Supreme Court to look at the case, and then they were saying that they didn't want to touch it because of the time limit, believe it or not. But it's interesting that other people have gotten some type of reparations or payments, different things, whether it be what happened to the Japanese during World War II, the internment camps they were placed in at Santa Anita race course, and them getting their business and houses taken away, or whether it be Holocaust victims. Even 9/11, that was a fund that was set up for survivors and everything else. They still haven't done anything like that here. And even this community wasn't allowed to come back to full strength. In the 70s, there was a highway placed in the middle of it. So that splits the community. And even after the massacre, they try to pass some fire laws of saying that they couldn't build on the places where businesses were before, and had to be, it was just really a lot of roadblocks given to this area, and also redlining happened in this area. It's not much to see. It's really about a block from Archer to Greenwood of what it kind of looked like. A lot of businesses didn't reopen, and some folks just left and wound up living some other state. So it's really nasty part of our history. As a matter of fact, there were even stories about airplanes bombing the community. It's the first time ever that airplanes were used against American citizens on their own soil. They were saying that bombs of turpentine bottles are dropped on businesses and homes. So how somebody can have that much hate in their heart, I have no idea. The anniversary will be May the 31st, June 1st. So there's some different activities that are happening. And matter of fact, there are two different set of celebration or commemorations, I should say, that are happening. John Legend and Stacey Abrams pulled out of one commemoration because they found out that the city is not sharing the wealth in the black community. So that's another thing too. They were trying to profit from it. Unlike this is going to black businesses and everything else, and even this community has changed. There's a baseball stadium, AAA affiliate for the Dodgers, the Tulsa Drillers. They have a stadium. It's been here about 10 years, and I see some little high-rise condos going up. So, and I think the condos are going for about $1,200 a month. So minorities can't afford that. So this area is not going to be black again. It's being gentrified. So it's sad to see that the history is kind of wiped away, but at least they have acknowledged some of the things, and there's a nice mural now and some other things as well. But the main thing is, let's get those reparations. So instead of putting up these parks and signs and these little symbols that don't really mean anything, let's do something fruitful. They're still waiting for maybe money or scholarships for descendants of the folks that were killed in the riot. So things like that are what they're waiting for, not little things of, hey, let's make this little park or a bench or a day in remembrance. That doesn't do anything. Money will help a lot of the community a lot. And matter of fact, this area right over here is Oklahoma State University is right here on this property as well. So everybody else has prospered except for black citizens here. So it's very sad to see. And they're saying that a lot of folks with wealth live south Tulsa. So there's a big economic divide between the haves and have-nots.
I will never forget the violence of the white mob when we left our home. I still see black men being shot, black bodies lying in the street. I still smell smoke and see fire.
That was Viola Fletcher, the oldest known living survivor of the Tulsa race massacre, testifying before a House subcommittee and calling for justice and reparations for survivors and their descendants.